Good evening, folks, and welcome to another edition of Crime Time with Duty Ron, a retired NYPD detective with 20 years of law enforcement. But tonight I'm joined by a special guest. He's no slouch, and he's not somebody who you guys don't know. I have criminal defense attorney Joe Murray joining in, who is a retired New York City police officer and also a fantastic attorney. Joe Murray, thank you so much for joining in on this live stream. I appreciate you being here, brother.
Oh, it's my pleasure to be here. I love what you do, that you're so victim focused to support victims, particularly in these times where the focus is on the defendant and providing and restoring rights and treatment for defendants. People are starting to lose sight of who really is the important people here, the victims. So as a criminal defense attorney, I'm more than happy to acknowledge that we are, it's a delicate balance, and that's what the Constitution provides. And I love what you're doing, and I support it 100%.
Thank you for that, Joe. And again, tonight, the reason we are live is we're talking about Chris Watts. He is a savage beast who took the life of his wife, his two children, and his unborn son in 2018. To be exact, August 13th of 2018. Now, in a few short weeks, we will be coming up on a 3-year marker of this heinous crime that was committed not only against the victims, but the family, the extended family, the Ruseks, the cousins, the aunts, the uncles, and everybody on that side. And we talk about this all the time. It's about respect for the families that are left behind. Now, here we are 2 years in, coming into 3, and people are still speaking about this case. They're still disrespecting the family. They're talking in less than in a good way. And for me, I got to tell you, it's such a shocking thing to hear when people continue to talk about crime victims' families. I just got to say, from being a police detective, police officer, and dealing with families that have gone through tragedy, there's no lower thing that you could do. And at the end of the day, really, I have no patience for it. So when I get comments in my comment section, and I have people who talk to me and say, "Duty Ron, this is just ongoing." People just continue to talk about this case. He was sentenced in 2018. 5 life sentences. This is a closed case. It's over with. There's no room for conspiracy theories. There's no room for talking about other people being arrested, because if somebody was going to be arrested as a co-conspirator or anything like that, it already would have been a done deal. But what I want to do is to set up for my audience. I want you guys to listen to it's over 2 years, going on over 2 years, a plea that Frank Rusek Sr. took a trip. Joe Murray and I we looked at this, we reviewed it. He took a trip from North Carolina all the way to Colorado, out in front of his daughter's home. This took a lot of strength, emotionally, in the heart. He got on an airplane, he came out there, and he made a plea over 2 years ago. This was June of 2019. And I want to play this so the audience can see the anguish, the way Frank is being ripped apart emotionally here. And it took a lot for this man to come out and be a voice for his daughter. But this was 2 years ago. And now we're going to fast forward to today. So if you guys would take a moment to listen to this, and please, again, if you're in the chat, be respectful towards the family. They are watching.
I am Frank Rusek. Last summer, on August 13, 2018, my daughter Shannon Watts and her children were murdered. They were killed by Shannon's husband and the children's father, Chris Watts. I can't possibly describe how painful the last 11 months have been for myself, my wife, and my son Frankie Jr. But I am making a statement today because for the past 11 months, piled on top of pain and the grieving of this devastating loss, our family has been subject to, horribly, cruelly abused, outright bullying and on a daily basis. Our family, including Shannon and her children and our grandchildren, have been ridiculed, demeaned, slandered, mocked in the most vicious ways you can imagine. Every time we turn around, there is someone trying to capitalize on our tragedy by spreading false rumors and outright lies about Shannon and our grandchildren. We have been subject to threats on our lives, all because we are victims in painful tragedy. This is so wrong. It is cruel, it is heartless, it is flat wrong. It breaks my heart, and we won't be the last. Families like ours should have the right to be safe and the right of a basic level of privacy, the right to mourn in peace. And it boils my blood that my family and other families are dealing with worse imaginable tragedy have to deal with this kind of cruelty and bullying. It needs to stop. The people who feel they are entitled to profit off our loss, we urge you, please stop. And for the people who are interested in this case, who feel compelled to comment and discuss, please stick to the truth. It is painful enough for us to just dealing with the reality. Reading the insane conspiracy theories, ugly false rumors, and lies only make it more painful. Finally, to the people who have stood with us, who have supported us and prayed for us and our family. For Shannon and her grandchildren, we can't thank you enough. God bless you all, and thank you for your time.
This sets it up clear and concise. 2 years ago, in June, in 2019, this man went out there and made a plea. And if you aren't a human being, if you don't have a good bone in your body, you don't listen to this man. But if you are half of a good human being, you take this message, this heartfelt message that this man took, right to the doorstep of where this heinous crime took place against his daughter, his grandchildren, and his unborn grandson. And you could do the things that he asks you to stop doing. Shame on you. You're less than a human being in my eyes, and you're just like a bad criminal. And I spent my whole career hunting down bad criminals. Joe, you have something to add to this? You are an attorney. You want to talk a little bit? The parents are here listening. Let me know what you think about this.
So the right to free speech is very important, but speech like this, where you're engaging in false allegations, knowingly false allegations, malicious attacks, that's ridiculous. The companies themselves should self-regulate. You know how we always said in the police department, we did it to ourselves. When they changed a new rule or something, we did it to ourselves because we didn't police ourselves. I'm telling you, these tech companies need to come together and police themselves. They need to come up with a remedy to fix this. Otherwise, the government is going to step in, and they're going to fix it. So my plea today is, as someone who loves and respects the First Amendment, my plea today is for these tech companies to wake up and self-regulate. Respond to your consumers, respond to them, and address this condition. And if you don't do it, the government is going to step in. And who suffers? Because it's never just, a fine line for the good and bad. We're all going to suffer when you attack somebody's, right to speak. And it's a slippery slope, and I don't want to go down that path. I don't want the government involved. So we really need to put the pressure on these companies to self-regulate. They can do it. Right. They can eliminate this content.
Because we're losing people to cyberbullying every day. People are taking their lives by being bullying online. But this brings it to another level, because what you're talking about here is a heinous crime. And people are not even giving that consideration. You have folks that are going out in 2021 to that house where you saw Mr. Rusek standing in front of it. They're going up and videotaping and putting cameras inside the window and looking in and talking. This is where this one was at. This is what. There's nowhere where you should be doing that, because it's just simply re-victimizing these families, the people who have to sit and see this stuff. Like you said, Joe, folks should be saying to themselves, I wouldn't wish this on my worst enemy. Think about you as a mother or a father, God forbid, losing your son or your daughter or your grandkids, and then having a bunch of people on Facebook, YouTube, and all of these live streaming and social media platforms making up stories that don't exist, talking about people doing this and people doing that. That is just the worst thing in my eyes. Listen, I'm a compassionate human being. I care about my fellow man and woman. Who does that? Who does that? It's just despicable on so many levels.
The maximum sentence allowable under the law.
Exactly.
He made it clear Chris Watts would be on death row were it not for this family. And this is the thanks they get? This is how people treat them? This loving family who in their worst time of pain and suffering were able to be merciful and allow him not to have a death sentence. It's incredible when I hear about the attacks. And I want this family to know they have a friend in Joe Murray, and I have, as we all do, Duty Ron, our retired law enforcement friends that do this kind of work, that these anonymous people who are attacking you, there are ways to determine who they are. And we have the resources. And then once we determine who they are, we'll pay them a visit. And I hope it ends there. But this is disgusting. And I have no problem applying the full resources of my office and my network of people to defend victims like this family. It's disgusting. It should stop. And we as a community need to speak up and call out stuff like this and help them. That's what community does.
Joe, I couldn't have said it any better. The people who are doing this to them time and time again, no matter how many pleas these folks make, these are despicable people. And I couldn't be quiet about this. This has been building with me for months and months and months. There, like you said, there are legal recourses, and they are exploring that avenue. Cease and desists, gag orders, and all different kinds of things that are going to be coming down the pike. There's so much to talk about, which I won't get in this live stream, because I want to pinpoint it to the nasty behaviors and the nasty things that people are doing to a family that has gone through this. How can you do that? How could you call yourself a decent human being and do that? It's just despicable. And it's got to stop. Something's got to happen.
Experience. Now when you think about the victims themselves, this family, what they went through, learning what happened to their loved ones.
Right.
I just can't imagine how somebody, especially watching that sentencing, even hearing from his parents and what they said to him, how could you attack this family? How can you attack somebody, a victim?
Joe, there's so much work that needs to be done in this case of what's going on to this family. They're God-loving, they're forgiveful, and they're thinking of other people. And in my mind, I think, how can they even function day to day? But they're doing it, and they're barely doing it. They're struggling. I wouldn't wish this again on my worst enemy. On a terrorist, I wouldn't wish this on. But these folks are being re-victimized on a daily basis. How?
That's why I call upon this. I don't know anyone who can really justify it or condone it. And I love to see the comments in the chat, how people are so sympathetic and compassionate.
Right.
I like to believe that that's who we are as a people. But when you see this horrendous stuff going on and taking place, I think more than just conveying your support in a chat, we all need to take that 5-10 minutes, write the letter, send the email, put pressure on these companies, because I can't stand what I see. You know, we became cops because we love to help people. My practice, I love my practice because I help people. I help people, and the ones I help and I love helping the most are the people that are the most hopeless. And they've gone to other resources and they can't get any remedy. And they can't get anyone even to take their case. Those are the ones that I love. I love to fight bullies. I love to help people who are oppressed, abused.
I agree with you more. YouTube and all of these social media companies, Facebook, they're all making gazillions of dollars. Why can't they have a customer service number where someone picks up the phone? You heard the news reporter ask Frank, have you reached out to these companies and what was the response you got? His answer was nothing. Nothing. So what gives these bigger companies the right to let a platform that they put out there? Now, granted, it's a free platform, but they have a platform out there where people can just run amok. When I went to Joe about 2 weeks ago and told him about this, he said, you name the day, you name the time. And he was here for me tonight, and he's here for the Rusek family. So thank you, Joe, for speaking out and getting on here with me. But again, the plea here is for humanity, for people to be human. And I know that we can't change the world. We knew this as cops. When we became New York City police officers, one of the first things we were told in the police academy is you're not gonna make, you're not gonna change the world, but you got to go out there and you got to do the best you can. And day in and day out, the family here does the best that they can. They're again a praying family, a family that loves God, and that is wonderful. I've had many conversations by text message and voice messages with the family, and they've been nothing but welcoming to me, like I was part of their family. So I want to just jump on without further ado quickly. I have Frank Sr. joining us here tonight. Frank, welcome in to the live stream. Thank you so much for coming here tonight, Frank.
How you doing?
Good, good.
Just like to thank you guys for doing this for us. We appreciate it very much.
Mr. R, I would, again, I would do this. I told your wife I would do this any time that we need to sit and speak about this. But, enough's enough. This has gone on too long. I played your video. I know you've been watching from 2 years ago. We're talking about 3 years coming up this August 13th. These people need to just get on with their lives, as you said, Frank. And you said it so well.
Yeah, it's a shame that we are going through this. Like I said, it's not only us, there's other families that are doing it too.
Yeah.
And YouTube and all these places allow this to happen. It's sad.
It's despicable. Joe, you got anything to say, Mr. Rzucek?
Yeah, please. Like I said, I would love for you to contact me and we could talk more about this and what, steps we can take at least to the worst offenders. But I just doing this work with Duty Run, it's really just opened my eyes to a lot more of what's happening out there and meeting the people who are involved in these cases. It's just incredible. So anything I can do, please. I really would love for you to reach out to me so we could talk more about this. But I'm here for you and I'm happy to help.
Okay, sounds good. We'll get up with Ron about this. We'll get talking.
And Frank, I want to say quickly, because we already spoke on the phone, but before you joined here tonight, My condolences to you and your family. Again, I'm kind of hopped up right now, so please forgive me for not being respectful in that way. I just was thrilled that you joined, and I wanted to say my sincere, deepest condolences to you and your family.
Yeah, thank you very much. I mean, we appreciate everything, and everybody gets hyped up about everything. So,
I'd like to say thank you too, real quick. I'm sorry, I'm jumping
Hey,
in.
Frankie.
I want to say thank you guys. I appreciate all the kind things you said, and it sure is nice to get some help. And I've been working hard trying to get, not like you said, get the not a law, but maybe hold these people accountable. Hold the platforms accountable. If not the platform, then the people. You know what I mean? They got to have something in place for this. Like you said, it's only getting. The technology is only getting more different, you know what I mean? So they got to keep up with it. I love my First Amendment, I love my free speech, but there's a huge fine line between the two.
And Ron and Joe, thank you so much. We appreciate it. And God bless you both for doing this for our family and for many other families. And Joe, we will be getting up with you and we'll get you up to par what we're up to.
Thank you. Looking forward to it.
Thank you
Sandy,
so much.
You all.
and Sandy, Frank, and Frankie Jr. My community here, you have the complete love and support from the folks here at the Duty Run. Crime Time with Duty Run. I do not allow any toxic behavior, so if anybody is toxic, they're immediately eliminated. So a lot of love coming from this community to you guys, and you know how this goes. There's good and bad in everything, and we're no strangers to that. As retired police officers, we've seen evil. We put people behind bars. I personally put my handcuffs on people who have taken other people's lives. Most of these trolls and most of these people that are out here continuing to talk about your family have never done that. They're keyboard warriors who are cowards. So at the end of the day, I would, like Joe said, we would go after them with vigor, or give the right direction on how to go after them with vigor. And we're on board 100% with helping you guys out.
appreciate it. Yeah,
We really appreciate that.
we've been reading the chat, so we thank everybody for the chat.
Well, Joe, we sent Ron some information and we've got 3 years worth. So we'll get together over a glass of wine or a beer or something and come see you in
Absolutely.
New York.
Give us an excuse to go to New York, huh?
How about some of that good cooked food that you make over there, Sandy?
Your wife's
Yeah.
Italian, for heaven's sakes.
Yeah, me and Joe will jump on Amtrak and come on down there.
My door's always open to you.
Oh, the Amtrak's right down the
that's
street
so
from us,
kind of you.
actually. I took it to Florida once. It's really cool.
I love it. Yeah. Yep. So we could do that easy. We could just jump right on it down there in Penn Station, Joe, and we could.
Yeah, let's do it.
be down there.
I'll get you some golf passes.
I'll go to the golf course and eat and drink, but I won't play golf.
Well, we just want to jump up here and say thank you very much. I mean, I don't want you guys to keep talking, but I just want to jump up here and say thank you very much to you guys. We appreciate everything you guys are doing for us.
Mr. and Mrs. R and Frankie Jr., much love and respect, as always, from all of us here in the community. So,
And I want to
bless
thank
you
the
all.
chat for all the hearts and the love. We appreciate that. It really, really means a lot. And when Frank's speech went up and Frankie's all the hearts, it teared us up. It teared us up. And thank you. God bless you all, really. Thank you. Even my enemies, God bless you. I'll come see you soon.
Wow. God bless, guys. Thank you so much.
All right, thank you guys.
We'll talk
Be well. We'll talk.
Okay.
Wow. Amazing. What a great family. I mean, here's a testament to that, willing to come on, willing to talk, strength and bravery, and, not willing to let their daughters' names, their grandchildren, their unborn grandson, not letting their names be slung through the mud. And that's essentially what some of these creators are doing, and it's sick. It's sad. Guys in the United Kingdom lighting up live streams every second that they can, and it's just so uncalled for and so inhumane. So at the end of the day, I feel that, and some people hate that I say at the end of the day. That's my freaking favorite thing to say. At the end of the day, God's going to judge you. At the end of it all, we all get judged. And I think that the people who are doing this stuff are going to meet their maker one day. So,
Just add one more thing, and I just want to make this last plea to everyone. I love how there's 500 people here. They had the time to sit here and watch this show. They're making comments. Don't let it end there. Write out a quick little email, send it to all these providers, tell them how you feel. They need to self-regulate. They need to take steps to address our concerns. The community is asking. We want some intervention. If you all could just take 5 minutes and send that email, send that message, write a letter. You are very gracious and compassionate. I see all the chat and the comments and the hearts. Take that next step and let them hear from you.
you have victims and you have the family who are also victims. They are on here making a plea from 3 years ago to please let their daughter and their grandchildren rest in peace. Stop speaking about them and stop doing the things that are making them uncomfortable. Think about it if the shoe was on the other foot and your grandchildren, your daughter, were murdered by a loved one. This is very, very hurtful. All right, guys, so I want to wish everybody a lot of love and respect. So much love and respect to the Rusek family. Again, everybody, please have some compassion for these people and stop your nonsense. Try to be a good human being. And God bless the world. God bless the United States of America. And God bless each and every one of us here in the chat. And all victims of crime and their families across the globe.